Mahoraga, the shikigami of the 10 shadows. Rika, the cursed spirit that was cursed by Yuta. These two characters are essentially the Pokemon of their users Megami and Yuta. This matchup is interesting, considering how powerful Rika was in Volume 0 and how she manhandled Geto, and especially how powerful Mahoraga was against Sukuna. And after seeming like you just couldn't kill it at all, what if these two similar powerhouses, special grade entities, decide to have a battle to the death? And would it even be a close fight to begin with? Remember, make sure you leave a like, it's always appreciated. Subscribe if you're new to see more of the content just like this. And yeah, let's start this Poke battle real quick. Let's start with Mahoraga. He's pretty much a cheat code. Mahoraga is one of Megami Shikigami that has never been tamed by a Zenin user ever. Are you surprised about that? When this Shikigami is constantly moving like he was taken to a theme park for the first time. It's always smiling, ready for action, ready to fight. This is a dangerous being. There are elements of Mahoraga that are pretty busted. For example, the main thing, which is Mahoraga can adapt to any and all phenomena. This is absolutely cracked. Like, it can adjust to the surroundings and abilities in all sorts of ways. Let me just give you guys a quick example. Mahoraga was sent by Sukuna into the water to pretty much perish. But guess what happened? Mahoraga created gills on itself, like it's the deep from the boys, to adapt underwater to then swallow the water up and get rid of it all. This ability to adjust whenever to whatever is insane. It is also described as a late rock paper scissors when adapting. It sounds like Mahoraga is cheating, and that pretty much shows how fast it can adapt to your technique. Now, Mahoraga's bag is deeper. It has some of the most ridiculous regenerative abilities to ever exist in Jujutsu Kaisen. Anything you do to it will just become undone, and it gets adapted to also. That means unless you got multiple moves in your arsenal, the likelihood of beating Mahoraga is 0%. So one of the most interesting part of Mahoraga is the Sword of Extermination. This is like the Excalibur of the JJK verse. This sword that is on his arm, looking like an Assassin's Creed character, moving like Enzo. It's pretty much a cursed spirit exterminator. Might as well call it pest control. It is enveloped in positive cursed energy to eradicate any cursed spirit it touches. That's not including the fact Mahoraga is able to adjust its nature of the sword against the opponent he's fighting. At this point, this has to be some adaptational glaze. No matter what you do, Mahoraga will be able to adapt to it and make sure that you never use the move again because it won't be effective anymore. What a bastard. But besides those two busted abilities, his physicality is outrageous. I mean, first of all, look at the build. You could get this on juice if you wanted to, but it's not for show. As I said before, it can swim in concrete doing the butterfly. I was corrected before for saying breaststroke when it's butterfly. You know how it goes. So going blow for blow with Sukuna even for a bit is an amazing feat. Mahoraga is just built uniquely different, honestly. But you know who else is built different? Rika. So let's go ahead and see what Rika can do. So Rika is the lover of Yuta, and Yuta is the lover of Rika. Definitely is a curse that has been feared throughout Jujutsu Kaisen. Honestly, think about it. They wanted to execute Yuta because of how much of a terror Rika is. Not because Yuta did anything, but Rika. So Rika is stated by some heavy hitters to be a powerful special grade. Words such as she is the queen of curses, said by Geto. Bear in mind what that truly means. Geto is the one who knows all about cursed spirits and has been eating them for years. So to call her the queen, like she's royalty, means she's the strongest among curses. Like Geto believed with Rika, he would have been able to beat Gojo. Oh my god. Yes, Gojo Satoru. He said their chances would turn from 30% to 99%. Rika has to have something we don't know about if that's the case, bro. Like you have more of a chance of Miwa beating Sukuna. Like there's no way that is legit. Or it could just be the fact that Jujutsu Kaisen 0 wasn't really planned for Gojo to be as broken as he was in the beginning. Because how would she pass the infinity anyway? But Gojo acknowledged how terrifying Rika is as well though. And it made no sense how she is that strong. Even going as far as to say that she is scary and he would risk his life to fight her if need be. That's what I'm saying, there has to be something we don't know about. So then what makes her so powerful then? Well, for starters, Rika is an endless bundle of cursed energy, meaning there is no end to her power, and that makes it difficult to exercise her altogether. She has immense physical capabilities, including high durability. Rika also can carry items within her and summon them if need be. If we look at it hypothetically, for example, when bringing out Toga Inumaki cursed megaphone, she could technically speak into it and have no issues, but she hasn't shown to do it of her own fruition, so we can't really count that yet. That's more of what Yuta does. Rika is low-key like Yuji, using the left right goodnight tactics, and she pretty much going to rip you to shreds or choose to be a boxer and box you to death. In addition, she can unload a beam that is slightly inferior to Ryu Ishiguro, bearing in mind he had the highest output of curse energy, and that is something actually confirmed. Not only that is confirmed, but she can shoot on her own without Yuta, so it's not just a Yuta carry sesh. But that would be all in terms of the two Pokemon characters. I mean, Jujutsu Shikigami versus Cursed Spirit. Who would win in a battle to the death? Alright, to begin, Rika with all her abilities is able to keep up with Geto in speed relative, and Geto is said to be one of the best hand-to-hand combat characters next to Gojo in the series. So when they engage with each other, Mahoraga with his physical stats will get Rika to straight away experience the close combat by force. We know Rika doesn't really think tactically or anything of a sort, so Rika would definitely engage. I mean, there's not really logic in what she's doing. I mean, she was beating a Cursed Spirit in Volume 0 and was talking about how pretty she was when the correlation was not even there. So as soon as they encounter each other, similar to Sukuna, Mahoraga uses the Sword of Extermination instantly. Now, I don't want to be that guy, but it would be the cook session of a lifetime. Rika would disintegrate so fast, you'd think is one of Dr. Doofenshmirtz innators failing. The Sword of Extermination is just very broken and very cracked. Has a sole purpose of one-shotting cursed spirits, even said by Sukuna. As we mentioned before, it is imbued in positive cursed energy, which is a cursed spirit evisceration manual. This is to the point Sukuna himself believes he would have perished. Sukuna is very knowledgeable and knows a lot. I mean, he is the king of curses, so he is quite credible, meaning the queen of curses was washed by Mahoraga in truth. But this would solely be of the fact Rika is not aware of this sword, because if Rika catches wind of this weapon, she would adapt to the situation and try using long range projectiles. Now we know that she has quite a quick reload speed because of her encounters with Ryu when she was shooting blasts. But even in this instance, a long ranger would be adapted by Mahoraga. We know this because it took 15 Finger Sukuna to use a domain expansion, and then on top of that, open with Fuga and destroy with the arrow. Which, when it comes to Rika, from what we've seen, all she does is left-right punches, like Yuji, except she can do a couple of blasts. I wonder though, due to Rika having boundless curse energy, it may take more than one shot to finish her. Or perhaps not, since Sukuna has bundles of curse energy, but he still decided that yeah, he probably would have got cooked. And let's say for argument's sake, Rika gets a couple hits in and is able to hurt Mahoraga. Mahoraga regenerates instantly, so unless she has something in her locker, which made Gojo say I will risk my life to fight her, and made Geto believe that he can beat Gojo with her, then without shadow of a doubt, Rika gets air fried, cooked, and it is not even that close at all. If Sukuna, who is fighting with 15 fingers, had to block the sword twice, then you already know it's GG's for Rika. So that would mean that Rika would get killed by Mahoraga. But besides that, this leaves Yuta and Megumi. At this time, Yuta will be crying, regretting everything he has done and for cursing Rika in the first place, while Megumi dies from casting it anyway. This all started because he stubbed his toe and said with this treasure, because him and Yuta are friends. And it leaves Mahoraga smiling with freedom, and I ain't talking Eren. But that would conclude this versus battle, and that is definitely how it's most likely to go. if I was to put big money on it. Make sure to look on the screen right now because I should have a video that's quite good that you could watch. And as I say to the new and old people that come and visit my channel,